You've been here too long, drowning in the fire, suffocating in the ashes. You call this home, but it's nothing more than a prison, a place where your pain is routine, your suffering expected. You've built walls around yourself, not to keep danger out, but to keep yourself trapped inside. And maybe, just maybe, you've convinced yourself that this is where you belong, that the darkness wrapping around you is the only embrace you'll ever know. But listen to me. If hell is your home, it's time to take flight. This world has never been kind to you. It has taken from you more than you ever thought you could lose. It has crushed your hopes, broken your spirit, and left you with nothing but scars. Some visible, some buried so deep, even you don't recognize them anymore. You have given your loyalty to people who discarded you like an afterthought. You have waited for hands to pull you out, only to find that none were reaching. And maybe you thought this was it, that you were destined to rot in the place where the pain became familiar. But here's the truth. Staying in hell doesn't make you strong. It makes you accept suffering as your identity. And you were never meant to be caged in your own agony. The world taught you pain. It forced you into battles you never asked for. It left you bruised and bleeding, wondering if survival was even worth it. But what the world didn't teach you is how powerful you are when you finally decide to stop waiting. When you decide that enough is enough. When you decide that you will no longer be defined by the agony they forced upon you. You have wings. You just never used them. Not because they weren't there, but because you forgot you had the right to fly. They want you to believe that you're stuck, that you will always be chained to the past, to the mistakes, to the betrayals. They whisper in your ear that leaving this behind is impossible, that the weight of it all will always keep you grounded. But let me tell you something. Nothing is heavier than the chains you refuse to break, and nothing is more painful than staying in a place that is killing you, just because you're too afraid to leave. So let them think you're broken. Let them believe you're nothing more than a product of your suffering. Let them laugh when you try to rise, because soon they won't be laughing anymore. Because the moment you decide to take flight, you become something they can no longer control, something they can no longer hold back. You become the storm, the fire, the force they never saw coming. And by the time they realize it, you will be too far gone for them to ever reach you again. But you have to be willing to endure the discomfort of change, because leaving hell doesn't happen in a single step. The fire doesn't let go so easily. It will try to pull you back. The ghosts of your past will scream your name. The weight of your mistakes will try to convince you that you don't deserve freedom, that you should stay, that you are meant to suffer. Lies, all of it. You don't owe this world your suffering. You don't owe anyone your silence, your submission, your pain. What you owe yourself is freedom. What you owe yourself is the chance to become who you were meant to be before they tried to break you. You have burned in this hell for too long. Now it's time to rise, to take everything they stole from you and build yourself into something untouchable. Because the moment you take flight, the flames that once consumed you will be nothing more than ashes beneath your feet. Do you hear that? That's the sound of your past losing its grip. That's the sound of every chain snapping, every burden shattering into dust. And as the weight lifts, as your body remembers what it feels like to be free, you'll understand something. This isn't just escape. You will be tested. They will say you are making a mistake. They will call you arrogant, ungrateful, foolish. They will try to remind you of your failures, of your shortcomings. of every time you fell short of their expectations. They want to keep you in the fire because it makes them feel stronger. Because if you rise, they will have to face their own weaknesses, their own chains, and they are terrified of that. But you won't look back, because you have already won, because you have already left, because the only thing ahead of you now is everything you were meant to become. So when the wind calls your name, don't hesitate. When the sky opens up before you, don't doubt yourself. Spread your wings and go. Don't just escape hell. Rise so high that it can never touch you again. Fly. Fly. Because the ground beneath you has nothing left to offer. Fly. Because the flames that once licked at your heels can no longer reach you. Fly. Because the weight you've carried was never yours to bear. But understand this. The sky is not a gentle place. Freedom is not a gift. It is a battle. The higher you rise, the stronger the winds will howl. The colder the air will become. The ones who once mocked you will now seek to pull you back. They will call your name, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear that you will rise beyond their reach. Fear that your flight will remind them of their own broken wings. And when they realize they can no longer hold you down, they will try to poison your mind instead. They will whisper that you are lost, that you do not belong among the stars, that the sky is no place for someone who was made from suffering. They will remind you of your failures, of your wounds, of every moment you begged for mercy. But let me ask you this. If you were truly weak, would you have survived the fire? If you were truly broken, would you have found the strength to take flight? No. Weakness does not endure what you have endured. Fragility does not rise from the ashes of its own destruction. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are the storm that survived. So let the world watch. Let them scream. Let them tremble as they see you ascend beyond their reach. You are no longer a prisoner of the past, no longer shackled by the weight of your suffering. You have bled. You have burned. You have endured. And now you soar. And when you reach the skies, when you finally taste the air that was always meant to fill your lungs, you will understand something. This is not the end. This is just the beginning.